Hey everyone, welcome back to Casey's Book Corner. I'm Kirsten. Today I have a double treat for you. I am going to be reviewing The Shepherd King Duology by Rachel Gillig. I just finished the second book the other day. It's a great little romantasy duology and I'm excited to get stuck into it. As always, get comfy. Grab a drinky. I'm on the Diet Coke today. I don't even have a cool cup to show you. Just my juice. Let's get started with the review. First up, One Dark Window. I really enjoyed this one. Anyone who's watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I'm really new to fantasy. And I'm also really quite new to romance. I was very much a thriller girl prior to trying to expand my tastes. So these books are all still really new to me. I'm learning what I like and what I don't like. And I really liked this one. I listened to this on audiobook. I find that I'm enjoying fantasy more in audio form than reading it. Maybe it's because I'm not having to focus in any way on pronunciation or anything like that. It could be. But I was hooked from start to finish. I found the world building to be really good, really simple from my perspective. As a newbie to fantasy, I was able to comprehend what was going on a little bit easier than with some of the bigger epic series that are out there. Every chapter starts with like a poem, which is like an excerpt from the book of magical lore that these people use to kind of see them on their way. The poems are kind of like fairy tales, or how we would see fairy tales, things you speak to your children about, weaving the history of their little town called Blunder. There is a magical curse that kind of traps the town and everyone who lives in the town. It's surrounded by like a mist, and if you go into that mist, you are cursed. I really enjoyed having that little poem at the start of every chapter because it told the story without there being loads of dialogue to tell you the story. It just gave you a little snippet on each chapter, and I really liked that. In a nutshell, a magical spirit struck a dirty little bargain with the king, the Shepherd King, and as part of this bargain, the town was encompassed by this mist that creates an infection in people who go into it. The king's magic that he was given by this spirit was contained in like what's called providence cards. Each card kind of holds its own magic that the holder can use if they wish. And to save the town, you have to collect the cards together and perform a ritual. And that's the quest that our main characters are on. Find the cards to perform the ritual. There is a load more to it than that, but you need to read it to find out. So anywho, Elspeth is our main character. You find out very early on in this book that she is infected and she's brought into a group of highwaymen and told about this quest. She also meets Raven, who is our male main character. There's a little bit of fake dating that very quickly turns into real dating. There's a little bit of spice, but it is only one occasion of spice. The rest of the book is all about the story. Slight side note, but when I was reading the descriptions of Raven, I got the distinct impression that he was like a sexy version of Professor Snape from Harry Potter. I didn't know that there could be a sexy version of Snape, but that's what was conjured in my mind. Tall, hooked nose, shaggy black hair. All I could think of was sexy Snape. I think I have a problem. I don't think that was the intended direction that our minds are meant to go. Moving on. Part of Elspeth's infection is that she has a nightmare character in her brain. It's a quirky way of getting the backstory and the world building in there again without it just being all dialogue. And I really like how it was done. You've got Elspeth, and then you've got her and Nightmare having these bickering conversations back and forth. I think it's great. And that first book ends on a tiny little bit of a cliffhanger, gives you just enough rope to make sure you want to go out and listen to the next one. It was dark and it was gothic and it was really good. I enjoyed it. I felt like I wanted to know what happened next. The only thing that really, really bugged me, and it bugs me about most romance novels, none of this shit would happen if the male and the female main characters were open, honest, and transparent with one another. Just speak to each other, people. You'll solve a lot of problems. Half the book is them just misunderstanding each other. It's so frustrating. Get on the same page. Stop keeping secrets. It's not worth it. It wouldn't be half as interesting, though, if everyone was communicating effectively, because the book would probably only be about 3 pages long. Overall, though, it was a thoroughly enjoyable read. I gave it 4 stars. Really enjoyed it on the audiobook too. I'm starting to understand why fantasy as a genre is so beloved. You can literally do anything with it. It's amazing. You're not bound by the laws of where we are at. And I do like it. I'm starting to really come around. Moving on to the second book in the duology, Two Twisted Crowns. Rachel Gillig has built on the first book, and the second book has come out swinging. She's created a really compelling, really, really good storyline and really brought some of the other characters to life. This one has kind of 2 separate storylines that are running simultaneously that come together at the end of the book for the finale. So Raven and Elspeth / Nightmare are searching for the Twin Alders card. This is the last card in their quest. Raven's cousin, who is the son of the current King of Blunder, Elm, and Elspeth's cousin, Ione, have got their own cheeky quest to do back in Blunder. Elm and Ione's relationship is so good. They've got banter, they've got chemistry, there was character development on both sides. They went from side characters in the first book to the main people in the second book. Complete showstoppers for me, and their relationship just felt a little bit more genuine than Raven and Elspeth, which I felt was more of a physical attraction. They're attracted to each other as people. There's also tons of development on Nightmare as an individual character in this second book. We're getting a little sneaky look in his insights, his past, his motives. And while Raven and Elspeth are still key characters, their romance takes a little bit of a back seat. Again, something I really liked, because it can get a bit samey when you're dealing with the same people for two entire books. The story progressed at a really great pace. There was little mini side quests and stuff to sort of keep you engaged. And I actually think it would make a great limited TV series or something, with all these different sort of storylines intertwining and then culminating in that big finale. I really, really loved being part of this story. It was so good. Seeing their journey from start to finish and everything come to a really nice conclusion was just, it was really, really nice. Again, there's a little bit of spice. There's one full spice scene and a couple of little interactions, but nothing too graphic, nothing too heavy, and it certainly doesn't overtake the book. For anyone who enjoys Romantasy, or anyone who's new to the genre, I think this is a great little series to read. Also, Rachel Gillig has a new book coming out next year called The Night and the Moth. This also sounds really gothic, dark romantasy type stuff, and I cannot wait. If it is anything like this one, it's going to be very, very good. And that's it. That is my take on the Shepherd King Duology by Rachel Gillig. Well worth a read. If you enjoyed my review, give the video a little like, give the channel a little subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you've read this duology. What did you think? As always, I am here every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so I will be back in a couple of days' time. Until then, have a great weekend. Happy reading. Cheerio!